but I'm going to be doing something special. It's 10 weeks of, well, we're going to call it Soul Awakening 10. Soul Awakening 10. Now, this is a combination of what we'll call group coaching and deep study about the 10 dimensions, 10 Sefirot, the creative process, and how to change what you need to change in your life. If it's success, how to become more successful. If you're looking for change, if you have eating, problems, resisting carbs, how do you do that? But because everything begins with a process. How do you get to the root? But mostly we deal with effects, okay? We don't get to the cause. You see, the cause of everything is here, the Ein Sof. The Kabbalists explain everything is here. We are there now, but we don't. we're not aware of ourselves being there. We are getting input. Are we getting input through filters? Are we getting a direct input? What input are we getting? You see, there's a creative process. You see these 10 dimensions? This is all about the creative process, stages that we go through in our thinking process. So are we going through it purely? How purely? There's an impure system. We need to learn about that. How does it affect us? How does the dark side affect us? What's going on in the world? Do we need to be affected by what's going on in the world? I mean, we're all participants, right? Well, but I live in New York, I live in LA, and it's a zoo. Okay, maybe for you it is, or I live over here, or over there, or there's war, or God forbid. But there's no thing that I discovered that's probably greater than when I began to learn this wisdom back in 1987. And why I chose to, quit aviation, quit being a commercial pilot, and start doing this. I mean, it wasn't all at once, but I begin to see, it's almost like, yes, my soul was awakened. My teacher awakened me to the reality of things. I didn't have very high goals. I mean, and I thought they were really high. I'm going to have a place one day with a landing strip and a little airplane. Wow, I've gotten there. I'm there. I think of it today, and it's laughable because my eyes weren't opened up to my own spirit, what my spirit wanted or needed to express according to prior incarnation. And I'm not here to tell you that I decided to become a Kabbalah teacher because I'm a righteous soul. No, not at all. In fact, I wouldn't venture to guess what I was doing last lifetime, that I need to come back and put this light back because likely I took it out. Yeah, sorry, Rabbi Abe's not the righteous person you were thinking he was. Because it's not about that. I mean, even some of us may have, we may have done past life regression. We all want to hear, we were a prince or a princess. I mean, who wants to hear, last lifetime you weren't doing anything special, right? And you were just another one of the 5 billion, maybe at that time, but things have, you were a king, you were powerful. Okay. So there are issues with past life regression because, there are many souls floating by and we're not necessarily remembering our own life even. Anyway, there are ways to do this, but what's the benefit? The benefit is awakening your soul awakening. That is necessary if we want to accomplish what we came here to accomplish. But the first thing is we must understand from the root level this process, this creative process, which is what this represents. This is not just a bunch of circles to meditate on. It's called Tree of Life. That means getting off of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And that whole process, Murphy's Law, whatever can go wrong will go wrong at the worst time. That's Murphy's Law. And I'm not saying that's all of us, but, unfortunately, if we don't know how to deal with that, or how to get rid of that part of life. So it's a part. It has to be. We need free will. But how do we use it? How do we connect with that tree of life? And that's what makes what I'll call the impossible possible. What you think today is not possible is probably quite possible. So this is, I think, at least a very partial list of some of the benefits that that I've seen people experience. I mean, me, my life was entirely changed by the wisdom of the Kabbalah, okay? And by the deeper study. I used to be twice a week at 4:30 in the morning. I had to drive an hour. I had to get up at 2:30 in the morning just to learn this, okay? This study and this learning and this soul coaching is part of it's part of the bigger picture of anything and everything you do in your life. Is it for everybody? No, I won't say it's for everybody. I mean, I would love for it to be for everybody, but you need one major thing that I mentioned before. Desire is not, it's not just a word, okay? It's the nature of a soul. What's a desire? What's a real desire? I'll share one idea with you. The Kabbalists explain that the desire which will accomplish anything is called a yearning. In Hebrew, it's called hishtokekut, a yearning. But what is a yearning? How do you know you have a yearning? Can you be a little bit hungry? Yeah. Can you be more hungry? Yeah. Can you be a lot hungry? Yeah. Can you be starving and you do whatever it takes for food? I don't want to give this kind of a negative example, but the Zohar says nothing stands before a desire. So what type of desire is this? Well, imagine you're a parent. God forbid you're in an important training, right? Be like this one, I don't know. You're in important training. There are guards at the door. No one in, no one out. It's very special. I don't know if they do that in Tony Robbins, but whatever it is, you get the idea. And you get a text message. Your phone's on silent. You get a text message. God forbid, the child, something happened. You don't know what yet. Maybe nothing, but maybe something. You get a text message. But you need to go to the hospital. You get to the door. You're trying to get out. They say, no, sorry, ma'am. No one in, no one out. Tell me something. Anything going to stop you from getting out? No, nothing. That's a burning desire. I'm sorry to give an extreme example, but we need to put ourselves in perspective. There's a lot going on in the world today. There are people who have burning desires to do negativity. For whatever the reason is. They want control, may want power, whatever's going on. We need to change that. I'm saying, I know that's crazy talk for most people to hear. By our learning, we can put positive energy in. We can be. This study was reserved for the final generation. There was a time when Kabbalah could not be taught to the masses. That's an absolute truth. We could not learn this. Certainly not directly from the actual Kabbalists. And I'm not talking about people who decided this, that, they're going to write a book about it and all kinds of, I don't say the word nonsense, but a lot of nonsense, unfortunately. When you learn Kabbalah from the books, it needs to be from an unbroken chain. Since the time of Moses, that's how you know the knowledge is pure. And that's the actual Kabbalah. It's the actual knowledge of the Kabbalah. And so this learning is it's extremely powerful, but potent when it's learned properly. The protection today is people who are negative consciousness, selfish, the protection is built in. They can't use it because they don't want it. Don't give me that nonsense. What's more, they're into very instant stuff. You see, this shows us how to work. They're more into very instant, and I don't want to go into it, but a lot of very negative stuff that they will get power and so on and so forth and money, but they're using very negative things that eventually will not work out. Eventually. But it appears to work out for them today. Okay. We don't want to be robots, okay? Because most of us will be robotic until we really begin to learn. Kabbalah does that very well, stops us from becoming a robot and causes awareness. We become aware about our purpose, about our life. Things then begin to make sense. Sometimes life doesn't seem to make sense. Things are just happening. But we want them to make sense. We want our own work to make sense. What is it? What am I supposed to be doing to change my life, to change my, money, the money and, the flow of money and all that, and so on. All these things. Can this improve any area of our life? Absolutely, yes. I'll tell you why. Because the source of anything is one issue: lack of light. That's the one thing that is the source of confusion, frustration, illness, God forbid, no relationship, wrong relationship, whatever that is. Money matters, lack of money, not enough, whatever it is. It's all about one thing. It's a lack of light in a particular area. How do we restore it? We need to open it up. We need to open it up and bring light into that area. That's what this 10 weeks is going to be about. We're looking at the date to start this 10 weeks. I believe it's Monday nights. It's going to be evenings. It will be recorded for those who are, yes, registered in it.